Hi, I'm Emily Bonebright, and the author that I chose to research was Lois Lowry. She was born March 20th, 1937, in Honolulu, Hawaii. She was a middle child and was quite shy and reserved. She grew up during World War II, and her father was a dentist in the army. He was stationed in Tokyo, Japan, where their family lived for several years. And then as a young kid, she didn't have many friends, and so she found entertainment in her grandfather's library where she connected with the characters. And then that's when she started to dream of becoming an distinguished writer as when she grew up. Um, she eventually came back to the United States and graduated high school and then graduated from Pembroke College. She began writing as a journalist in the 1970s, and then she began writing young adult novels. And then in 1977, A Summer to Die was published, and it was heavily criticized for its taboo themes, talking about terminal illness and death. Um, in 1980 to 1990, she published around 17 books. In 1989, Number of the Stars was published, and this was her first Newbery Medal. Currently, she is a two-time Newbery Award-winning author, and she lives comfortably in Maine, and she writes when she can. She focuses on primarily young adult and children's novels due to her more complex themes. She has incorporated many of her own reflections and memories from World War II into her stories, yet she was hesitant to do that at first. One book in particular, On the Horizon, Lowry uses many personal experiences to create this book and other stories she had heard. In this book, she begins each part with a short reflection of her own personal experiences. With her incredible descriptive words, she really captures the feelings and the distress that each person experienced. She shows sides from both Pearl Harbor and Hiroshima. In part one is Pearl Harbor, where she was living in Hawaii with her father. And then in part two is Hiroshima, where she talks about the various complications that that caused when she was living in Japan. Um, she in Autumn Street, she further expands on her harsher themes like death and illness. Her stories are typically set somewhere in the 1950s, and I find it very fascinating to have these stories with many different timeless themes, such as caring for yourself before you can care for others. Autumn Street was a great fictional book. It was just a fun little story, but still focused on more complex themes. There was a lot of death, and during this time, when a child would get pneumonia and fall very ill, it was most likely that they would die. And so this book contains different intense themes. Um, Her other lighthearted stories include Goonie Bird is Absurd. This book is part of the Goonie Bird series, which is definitely more lighthearted than her others. This is targeted for younger audiences and was very fun to read. Goonie Bird is a different and unique first grader, and she experiences things that other first graders don't. I think this is a great children's book for them to explore their creativity and maybe even find relatable experiences within. Um, she has different young adult books that are used in schools. And I remember some of her books, such as Number the Stars, being taught in high school when I was in high school, and it still is today. She has many different long-lasting legacies, and I believe she is a great author. Um, thank you.